Admiral Tim Gallaudet says there are multiple alien species interacting with humanity. We've got that and a lot more to talk about today, so get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Okay, here's Bryce talking about Tim talking about multiple alien species.
He's been saying there are multiple species interacting with us. So he has leapt from, there are some cases that happen that we don't know exactly how to explain, but they appear to be technology that we don't understand, to now there appear to be multiple species interacting with us. And this guy, to see him, and I urge people to go look at anything this guy says, because you and I both know he has gravitas. He has exactly what they want from these so-called whistleblowers who might come forward. So just because there are whistleblowers waiting in the wings to come forward doesn't mean that there aren't some of the retired people who are already doing it.
Yeah, absolutely. And by all accounts, by all the evidence that I've seen, there's definitely multiple species of beings that are interacting with humanity. I was talking to Danny Sheehan about that the other day, and he was talking about 5 different species. I've heard other reports talking about up to 80 different species. Of course, some of those are like one-off encounters where a being will pop up and nobody will ever see that kind of being again to date. But definitely there seems to be multiple species interacting with humans. The ones that people talk about the most and see the most are the Greys and the Nordics and the Reptilians and so on. But very interesting to have somebody of the caliber of Tim Gallaudet also talking about this. That is huge. It's one thing for me to talk about it. It's another for Tim Gallaudet to talk about it. Okay, here's Steve Bassett, who I also had on the show a few weeks ago, talking again about some similar stuff to Danny Sheehan. Danny Sheehan was talking about how there might be a different way to approach alien abductions after disclosure. In a post-disclosure world, maybe we wouldn't have to be abducted in order to donate genetic tissue to the beings. Maybe they could just ask. And Steve Bassett is also saying there may be other ways to go about this.
There is no. The list of things that could be done to mitigate abductions is not a short list. But it would have to be in an open context where the government is going to help Americans or whatever who are having to deal with this, provide some way to assist them with this, make it harder on the ETs, whatever. I mean, that's not out of the question. But under the truth embargo, screw it. We're not going to do anything.
Yeah, they're not going to do anything at the moment. They're not even really admitting that alien abductions exist. So, I mean, not even the Soul Foundation really wanted to get into that. So, that's just something that we have to overcome. It's unfortunate. Alien abduction seems to be a massive part of the aliens' agenda or the beings' agenda here on Earth by the available evidence, mainly the Roper poll done by John Mack, Bud Hopkins, and David Jacobs in the 90s. They indicated 2% of the world populace were contactees or abductees of the beings. Later information supplied by David Jacobs indicates they actually shaved off some numbers for the Roper poll because the true numbers were too shocking, and it was actually closer to 5%. But let's just say 3%, that's still over 200 million people. And these are generally lifetime, even generational experiences and contacts. Week by week, day by day, month by month, generation by generation. It's a vast program by what we can see of it. Now, I would love more corroboration on that. I would love a debunking on that. Honestly, those are just terrifying numbers. Even though, according to the Edgar Mitchell Foundation, 8 out of 10 longtime contactees have a favorable view of their experiences. Still pretty terrifying to think that many hundreds of millions of people are being abducted around the clock without anybody really knowing in the broader scheme of things. So wild stuff, and if those could be mitigated, as Steve Bassett says, that would be wonderful. So another reason why we need disclosure. Check this out. This is wild. NASA veterans propellantless propulsion drive that physics say shouldn't work just produced enough thrust to overcome Earth's gravity. Dr. Charles Buhler, a NASA engineer and the co-founder of the Exodus Propulsion Technologies, has revealed that his company's propellantless propulsion drive, which appears to defy the known laws of physics, has produced enough thrust to counteract Earth's gravity. What? A veteran of such storied programs as NASA's Space Shuttle, the International Space Station, the Hubble Telescope, and the current NASA DUST program, Buhler and his colleagues believe their discovery of a fundamental new force represents a historic breakthrough that will impact space travel for the next millennium. The most important message to convey to the public is that a major discovery occurred. Buhler told the debrief, this discovery of a new force is fundamental and that electric fields alone can generate a sustainable force onto an object and allow center of mass translation of said object without expelling mass. There are rules that include conservation of energy, but if done correctly, one can generate forces unlike anything humankind has done before. It will be this force that we will use to propel objects for the next 1,000 years, until the next thing comes. Propellantless drive. That's crazy. No propellant, and yet it can launch ships into space. This is wild new technology. I love it. I can't wait for this to be implemented. One would think it might even be better for the planet, but I don't know enough about it. There's also other cool sciencey stuff going on. As Ashton Forbes says, cold fusion is coming. This device is the equivalent of a miniature particle collider. We will achieve free energy. Tesla was right. All the textbooks in the United States were wrong. 240 volts AC. It's 240. All right, well, bring it on, guys. Bring on this new age of propellantless thrust in free energy. Can't get here fast enough. Meanwhile, we've got the Loch Ness Monster. Has the Loch Ness Monster finally been caught on tape? Okay, got music playing. Okay. Or is this AI? I mean, AI is so good these days, especially in shorts. Now, with humans, sometimes you can count the number of digits and, tell whether it's AI or not. But, this got 4 flippers. So it's kind of hard to tell. If it was like 4 flippers with one sticking out of it, you could definitely say that it was AI. It could be CGI, it could be a hoax. I mean, probably is. I don't have a lot of faith in the Loch Ness Monster legend, honestly. I think the evidence for Bigfoot is very solid. Evidence for Nessie, not so much from what I've seen. But I could be wrong, and that could be a little Nessie right there. Maybe that's Nessie's baby. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. On to the next story. Drones or UFOs. Alarming incursions demand answers from the Hill. The U.S. military is confronting an unsettling phenomenon. Over the last 5 years, a series of bizarre and remarkably brazen drone swarms have overwhelmed key Department of Defense facilities and assets, including nuclear missile silos. Notably, some of the objects appear to exhibit unconventional technology. As Senator Mark Kelly, a member of the Senate Armed Services Committee, stated on April 9th, we see consistent incursions around sensitive government facilities. So I'm not going to read the whole article, but there you go. These incursions over Langley Air Force Base and others is getting more play. More and more people are seeing this as genuinely anomalous, which is only thrown into sharp relief when you see the attacks on Israel and being able to shoot down any rocket or drone that comes their way. So why can't they get a handle on these drones over these military installations? Is it because it's over a civilian airspace? Or civilians could be impacted if things were landing on them? Maybe, but I am not buying that justification. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the reason. But I don't think so, guys. I don't think so. I think there's something more alien afoot. But let me know what you guys think. Either way, this story is getting more play. As Ross Coulthard says, actually, Department of Defense, you do seem to be having grave difficulties protecting sensitive Air Force installations from what you say are drones. Hearing from staff at Langley and Nellis Air Force Base that you have not brought down any supposed UAVs. I'm sure Uncertain Vector is happy to explain why this is a grave national security and flight safety concern. So, yeah, very interesting that this is going on and this is getting more play. I guess it makes sense that this would get more play. It's more of a mainstream angle, right? There's nothing too woo or fringe or weird about it. And it's, important and relevant because it's occurring in our restricted military airspaces in and around our military installations. So, yeah, it's important to understand what this phenomenon is, and it's mainstream enough not to, produce the cringe factor that some of the weird stuff might induce in some people, unfortunately. Of course, all of this goes in a pretty weird direction, so I hope people are more open-minded on things like that. Let's see what else we got. Jacques Keel says 3 a.m. is a thing for the UFO phenomenon and many other odd or paranormal occurrences in folklore called the witching hour. And I know from ghost hunting that seems to be the case, that you get a lot more activity around that hour. That is also when Whitley Strieber says beings will wake him up and make him meditate if he's not meditating, because it is apparently a really good hour to meditate as well. And of course, also with the UFO activity. They're all connected somehow, consciousness and the phenomenon and all that kind of stuff. So I guess that makes sense. But it is a really intriguing thing. My theory on that, if you want to know my theory, is that everybody's asleep. And so the general hub or the general hum of consciousness or the chatter in our brains is low, and people are accessing these other areas of their brain and their other areas of their consciousness that may not generate that chatter, that psychic chatter. And so in those wee hours, you can have more contacts than you could otherwise. At least that's my theory. Let me know what you guys think. Meanwhile, check this out. Breaking, the Italian magazine Oggi just published an article where Marconi's nephew confirmed that Mussolini appointed his grandfather head of the RS-33 cabinet for study of UFOs. The cabinet also included Enrico Fermi. Marconi was absolutely convinced of ET existence. To which Ross Coulthart replies, confirmation from Italian media that there was indeed a Mussolini-appointed unit, RS-33, for the study of UFOs. This is the Italian government unit that handled the alleged 1933 Magenta craft retrieval NHI Tech allegedly handed over to the U.S. secretly in 1944 to 45. So yeah, the Mussolini UFO is, I guess, our first known UFO crash retrieval. It occurred in Italy in 33 and was handed over to the U.S. after the war. It's a really interesting story, and it has reverberations until the modern era. I'm talking, of course, about the mysterious Marconi murders that occurred in the 90s. Yeah, I'm old. To me, that's the modern era. And I remember that when I was a teenager, hearing about that. And more recently, I've looked into it again now that I know that Marconi was reverse engineering, or at least working on a UFO back in the 30s. Did some of that technology work its way into his company? Was some of that technology being worked on by those scientists that met mysterious deaths that almost had to be assassinations in the 90s? Definitely very interesting to think about. Meanwhile, here's a UFO video that's going around TikTok. Check it out. We'll see. What are the F in the sparkles in the sky? Okay, whatever. Anyway, yeah, check that out. You got multiple UFOs just kind of hanging out in the sky doing their UFO thing. Kind of winking and sparkling. Are they, is that the sunlight reflecting on them? Or are they phasing in and out of reality? Are they working on their cloaking shield? I don't know what's going on there, but it's pretty cool. This looks to me like a pretty solid, sighting. Of course, maybe CG artists are, more subtle these days. I don't know, but it's a compelling video, guys. It's a compelling video. Okay, last but not least is another compelling video of a possible UFO shootdown by the military. It's almost 4 minutes long, so let's see how much of this we can go through.
Dude, no kidding. I just flew over on bullseye 008 for 20. I had a radar hit, and it was swinging. It looked like 30 knots. There was something there. It looked like it didn't look like a bird. It looked like, no kidding, a rock to me. I keep you negative. I have no idea what it was, but basically, just heads up, try to stay away from 17,000. Keep your nugget on, so I have no idea what it was.
So yeah, they saw a flying rock, and then let's jump to what happened next.
First time I saw it, it's 17.7, so it's not falling. I don't think it was a bird.
Or locking it with auto guns.
What's that?
Are you taking a manual lock or is it an auto guns lock?
I'm getting with auto guns every time. Putting it at bullseye 009 for 15. Showing, again, basically no airspeed on it.
She was clean.
Say again?
She was clean. She was locked. Bullseye 012, 15, 18,000.
Alright, I'm up slightly here. I want to try to look at it, and then you follow in behind me if you can. Alright,
15,000.
Dude, I have no idea what that is. But it just passed over me. I've got it at 17,000 feet, 8 miles off my nose. Bullseye 049 for 20.
So they launch a missile at this object.
17,000, I'm going to get down to 16.5. 2.5 miles off my nose right now. 17,000 feet. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to slow down as much as you are. Maybe you can slow down just a little bit more and get a better look. Alright, that's 220 knots now maneuvering.
Copy, confirm you've merged with it.
I am about to merge right now. I'm seeing him. Maneuvering now. And I'm going to get my airspeed back before I maneuver. Are you locked or clean?
I'm no joy approaching line abreast with you. 2,000 feet high, 18,500.
Cover that. I'm in an easy right-hand turn.
Did we just witness a UFO shootdown? If you go to tube 17 in the video, you can see the object itself. I believe that's the object. I think that's the UFO that they just shot down. This is pretty crazy, guys. I think this might be a video of a UFO shootdown. Now, I would love some corroboration on that, and I'll look for it. And if you see it before I do, even a debunking, let me know. But a very, very intriguing video. And, it's I don't know if we're shooting at the good guys or the bad guys, or even if we discriminate. I do think that we are working with the beings. That seems to be what the evidence suggests. The research suggests that the control group is working with one or more groups of beings, and they are shooting down others. Are they working with the good guys? Are they working with the bad guys? Are they working with the bad guys and shooting at the good guys? Did we just witness the shoot down of a good guy? That's why it's so disturbing and it's so frustrating, because we don't have those answers, and I don't have any trust in the powers that be to do the right thing on stuff like this. But maybe you have more faith in them than I do, so let me know what you think about this video and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure would appreciate it. Smash the like button and the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store below, or by becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you. Meanwhile, there's plenty of other videos on the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.